Hey, everybody. Welcome to what I used to be able to point to the logo, and I can't anymore because there's a wooden panel in the way. Who did that? I brought in a carpenter. I hired a carpenter. His name is Dave England, and he built a little wooden platform and popped it over, which way? This way? Yeah, he popped it over there, and it goes from there all the way down. Yeah, it's kind of, I have an imaginary line here, you know, trying to push this baby out of the way. It's crowding me, but it's kind of cool. Let me know if you like it. Hey, if this is your first time watching Wine with Dave, I've been doing this for 41 nights. 41 nights. Really glad. We're approaching 50. I might have big news on the 50th. 9 more nights. But anyway, if this is your first time, this is the 41st night of Wine with Dave. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. The world is crazy. This is a time to just chill out. For some reason, 9 o'clock or wine o'clock is a great time to just unwind and chill. Turn off the TV, turn off all the news. We all know the news is out there. We all know it's not great. Just chill out. We're going to get some help tonight, okay? Going to get some help. We're all feeling stuff. But I feel like the world's getting back. I have a feeling it's just like, okay, they're starting to open things up. People are meeting together, so this is all good. All good. If you are watching this somewhere else other than Wine with Dave, come over to Wine with Dave Facebook page, leave a comment, and it'll show up. Let me see. Let me share this. I'm just going to take a second here to just share this to... Am I on the right one? Yep, I'm on the right one. I'm going to share this over to my personal page. Share now. That way all 1,176 of my friends get to see it. So I just did that. So definitely share it. Share the link. Help me out. Help out a brother in need. Share the links. Give me some likes. Give me comments. So we have tonight, we've got from 29 Palms, California, again, continuing the streak as the longest watcher, the longest listener, Mr. Richard Greenwood. Thunderbolt Thursday, he says. He's driving. He's out in the desert of California, so he can't play the games. That's fine. But for 58 more minutes, it's going to be wine o'clock. And I'm having fun. I'm actually not having a wine tonight. My guest is. I'm having a little bit of bourbon. It's good. It's a buttery bourbon. Burns the back of your throat. You know what washes bourbon down like nothing else? A cold bowl of tapioca. Yeah. I know. I'm sick. Tapioca's awesome. Hey, leave a comment if you're just here. If you're wondering where the show is, go to Wine with Dave. Scroll down. I don't know why Facebook does that. It says, Dave is live right now, but you can't put comments. You got to scroll to the post below that. Why they do that, I have no idea. I don't know why they do that. But anyway, hopefully you're watching the show. So I'm going to get right into Did You Know? Okay. Let me go back here. Let me go back here. So I had a pretty good day. A little rush towards the end of the day. But I won't get into that. We're all busy, aren't we? All right. Did you know? And this is really popular. This is a popular segment of the show. And here it is. Did you know? I love this. I learn stuff when I do the Did You Know? I learn a lot of things. So leave a comment if you want to guess. Because there's 3 guesses. I used to have 4, but I was listening to someone in marketing, as I always do, and they said human beings can only really remember 3 facts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right. When I do 4 questions that are interactive, people forget all of them. But if I were to do 3, you'd remember it. Oh, the olive question, the Marilyn Monroe question, and the swimming question. It's easy to remember 3, but you do 4 and you forget everything. I digress. 72% of people eavesdrop. Did you know that? 72% of people eavesdrop. You're doing it right now. 100% of the people who watch Wine with Dave are eavesdropping. That's kind of how this program is. And did you know that 3 teaspoons make a tablespoon? I did not know that. I always struggled with that. Like, what? Not that I bake. So why would I struggle with it, Dave? Ready for this one? The fastest fish in the sea. The fastest fish in the sea is a swordfish, and it can swim up to 68 miles per hour. That's right. If there were roads underwater, swordfish would be getting speeding tickets all day long. 68. Remember that. That is fast, man. I don't know about you, but did you know that a bunch of bananas is called a hand? And did you know that individual bananas are called fingers? Now that I bet you didn't know. Did Chris Chappell know that? He's in the waiting room. I wonder if he knew. I bet he didn't know that. A hand of banana. Next time your wife goes out, say, hey honey, make sure you pick up a hand of bananas. I guarantee she won't say, okay, I'll be right back. And Chris, did you want 1 finger or 2 fingers from that? That'll never happen. I guarantee you the Chappell family does not know that, because I didn't. 93% of households in Denmark consume wine, the highest percentage in the world. Did I say that right? 93% of households in Denmark consume wine. Yeah, that's almost 100% of every household consumes wine. That's the highest percentage in the world. You know what the second highest percentage in a country consuming? Yep, you guessed it. And I don't have my French hat on tonight, but it is the French. 85% of households drink wine. I always grew up thinking the French always drink wine for breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's really the Danes. The Danes they're killing it. You know what? Where's my glass? I salute the Danes. All you guys that stick your finger in the dike and stop the flooding. That was the Danes, right? Or the Dutch. Danes and the Dutch, are they the same? I don't know. I didn't do well on history. All right, here we go. First interactive. Come on, people, leave comments. What is the number 1 food craved by women? The number 1 food craved by women. And did you know, and give me a second here, Arachabeterophobia is fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. There's a fear of that. Arachabeterophobia. Did you know that fresh apples float because they contain 25% air? So if you're wondering if the apple is fresh, no one wants to bite into a worm in the brown spot. Toss it in the water. If it floats, take a bite. If it don't, throw it out. Canada has more donut shops per capita than anywhere else in the world, than any other country. Yeah, not than anywhere. Canada, more donut shops in Canada than Canada in the other parts of the world. Second one, here we go. Men, no one's voting. Wow, that's crazy. Men represent 80% of all people that this accident happens to. Okay, it happens, of all the people, 80% of this accident happens to men. What is that accident? Chevy Chase's real name is Cornelius. Did you know that? Did you know that men change their minds 2 to 3 times more than women? Women tend to take longer to make decisions, but once they do, they're more likely to stick with it. So that's an old wives' tale that women change their mind. Men actually change their mind. Women just take a while. Did you know that Japanese people don't have middle names? I bet you didn't know that. You do now. And a bumblebee flaps its wings 160 times per second. That's cool. And the last one is an interactive one. Queen termites can live up to how many years? The queen, okay? So 3 of them. What's the number 1 food craved by women? Men represent 80% of all people that this particular accident happens to. And that's a good one for my guest tonight, in honor of my guest tonight. The last one is the queen termite. How old does she live? All right, no one voted. This is a first. Oh my gosh, not one person is commenting. Am I even live? Yes, I'm live. I am, well, yeah, Rick Greenwood can see it. I am live. Is anybody out there, to quote Pink Floyd? Is anybody out there? That is cray-cray, as the people say. Wow, no one voted. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, well, I got to give the answers. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Diane Greenwood, women crave hamburgers. That might be men. Anybody else? Any other takers? Diane, thanks for jumping on. Your chances of winning are really good because you're the only one voting. No one else? No other takers? It's chocolate. Women crave chocolate. It's the number one food craved. Men represent 80% of the people that this accident happens to. Does anyone know? It just somehow happens to men. Anybody? Anyone? Diane Greenwood, maybe? Do you happen to know the answer? Rick? Anybody? Getting struck by lightning. Yeah. It happens a lot to men. A lot. I'm not going to say why. Diane says falling off rods. Falling off rods? That's I don't know what falling off rods is. All right, the last one. Queen termites. How old do they live? How old do they live? Diane says, really? Yeah, getting struck by lightning. Crazy. Queen termites? Oh, falling off. She meant to say falling off roofs. My husband, every time he goes outside to fix something, he's always falling off the rod. He's always falling off the rod. I've never heard that. That's never been uttered by a wife ever. Yes, you said it wrong. Thank you for correcting yourself. Falling off roof. That would kind of make sense. All right, queen termites. They live to 50 years old. Termites. Man, I wonder if is there insurance for that? We'll have to ask our guest. Because if she's around 50 years, that's a lot of mates. She's pumping out a lot of babies. There's a lot of damage. 50 years. All right, we move on to the next portion of the show, which is on this day. And if you haven't filled out the survey, scroll down below this and you'll see I need help. There's no image, there's nothing. It's just a text. And then there's a link right below it. And it's a survey. I'd appreciate if you fill it out because in that survey gives me answers I need to improve the show. And I've already got 28 people fill it out. And I heard that this segment I'm about to do right now is not really popular. It's just, they're like, it's okay. It's not great. So I'm going to try to make it really exciting. Can I shake the table? All right, on this day, you ready for this? I think this is cool, being a musician. May 27th, 1977. Where am I? Why is it not showing? Oh, I know why. It's locked. Here we go. Okay. On this day, see those guys? Of course you know those guys. Drummer Stuart Copeland, bassist Sting, singer, and guitarist Andy Summer played for the very first time together today, May 28th, 1977, in Paris, France. They were in another band, Sting was, and brought Stuart, and then Andy happened to be there, was on stage, and they were with another bass player and another guitar player, I think. So it was like 5 people, and it was a short-lived group. It was just a one-time thing. They hit it off, and they said, hey, let's start a band. And so the Police were born on this day. They met today. They released 5 studio albums, went on 5 successful tours, and sold over 75 million records. Andy Summers is in my way. How do I get Andy Summers out of the way? push Andy Summers out of the way. He's a cool guitar player, by the way. Minimal. Didn't take solos. I loved it. He came out during the era in the 70s where everyone was soloing. He said, screw soloing. It's about the song. I was like, yes, finally. Not that I'm against solos, but I think it was great to kick rock and roll in the butt. But their last tour saw revenues reaching over $360 million. Those guys had the magic touch, right? So we salute Sting, Stuart Copeland, and Andy Summers. Thank you for meeting today and playing together in Paris, France on a stage on a very short-lived little mini group that you ended up splintering off and starting your own band. That was cool. I like that. All right, we ready? Friday night. My guest is Tonyism. He's an artist. He won't tell me his last name, but he's starting a movement, kind of like Cubism, okay? Postmodernism. Well, he has Tonyism, and you got to see his work. Well, you got to wait, and I will show it. We're going to have a little clip and a video of a lot of his stuff with some music, and we're going to talk to him. He's a very unique guy. I don't know how this is going to go, but I absolutely love his work. It's super stylistic. It looks like him. It looks like all of his art. It takes years to get a style. When you start out, it's kind of all over the place. He's got a style. When you look at it, you're like, oh, that's a Tonyism painting. And it's half pencil and sketchy and collage, and it's just super colorful. Great stuff. He'll be there Friday night, so grab a glass of wine. It's going to be good. But tonight you're in for a treat. My good friend, Eagle Scout, Mr. Insurance himself, Chris Chappell, is having wine with us. Chris is an insurance agent with Liberty Mutual, specializing in home, auto, life, and in case it's raining, an umbrella policy. Check it out.
And Doug.
Give me your hand! I can save you! Lots of money with Liberty Mutual! We customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
See what happens. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing, Dave?
Good. You're looking good, my friend. You clean up well at night.
Oh, I appreciate it. I put on my best for you.
That's cool. Liberty, the emu. Tell me about the emu. Emu has a name, right?
Yeah, the emu's name is Limu.
Oh, right, Limu. Limu the emu. Right.
Yeah, Limu the emu and our fearless compatriot Doug.
Doug. So what is Doug's thing? What's he? Is he trying to be an over-accomplisher? Is he a obnoxious salesman? What is he for the?
I'll tell you what, Doug is Liberty's version of probably the best way to describe it is the Tom Selleck of insurance.
Cool. Yeah, that's true. That's true. My wife has been watching what show he was on, that Tom Selleck, where he's a investigator or something. She watches it.
Yeah, like Blues, something blue, right?
Yeah, New York Blue. Well, no, not the new one. I'm talking the one from the 70s. And you're right. Doug is like that. He's very kind of tacky a bit with the yellow.
Yep.
Cool. And they spend a lot of money on advertising. So your name is out there. Everyone knows Liberty. Everyone knows Liberty. Petra just responded, those are my favorite commercials. Aren't they cool, Petra? Those are awesome. Yeah, they're funny and odd, but you just always remember them. I like the one by the Statue of Liberty when they're like Liberty Bibbity, but the guy's like screwing up and all that. Aaron Kloss, Magpie. Yeah, Magnum PI. That's what my wife watches.
Magnum PI, yep. There we go.
It's wicked tacky, and he's just like Rico Suave. Yeah, that's Doug. That's cool, man. Hey, thanks for coming on the show. This is really good.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So tell me about your history, Chris. I know you super well, but not super, super, super well. I do know that you've been in scouting, so you want to go back that far, or go back as far as you want to go. Tell me about your history.
Well, scouting's really where it all started for insurance. They taught me how to build the fire that burns the house down. So then I was like, oh, I got to go ahead and I rebuild it.
Yeah, Yago, teach you a lot.
But seriously, my actual career started with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and that's kind of how the whole insurance thing got started. A lot of people don't know this, but Enterprise Rent-A-Car on insurance replacement. So when you get into a car accident and you still need to be driving while your car's in the body shop, that's where Enterprise Rent-A-Car earns its colors. That's where they kind of earn their keep. And so that taught me basically a ton about claims. I spent a good long time, like 5 years, in that claims world, just dealing pretty much exclusively with insurance companies, people that just got into a wreck, that need to get their cars fixed, wrecking my cars as a branch manager for Enterprise, and just kind of dealing with the whole process from there. And funny enough, it's through that role that I met my current boss. And when her and I sat down and we were having conversations as to how Enterprise and Liberty could do business, it led towards a conversation as to how the insurance industry is probably a good fit for me, and I've been there ever since.
Nice. Let's just go back for briefly to Enterprise. Did you see a lot of accidents? When people rent cars, is there a lot of accidents?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. Believe it or not, and it's a cliche. You'll hear people say things like never buy the insurance on the rental car. I can't tell you, especially when I was running the airport location daily, like 2, 3, 4 cars a day that are coming back that need to get repaired.
Wow. So it's worth it. It's worth it.
Especially for the short rentals. The long rentals, have a conversation with your insurance agent. But the short rentals, in my opinion, it is.
So short rental is 1 day or half a day or what?
Half a day, a weekend, maybe even a week, depending on the location. Long rentals, if your car's in the body shop, believe it or not, the average length of repair is, in Rhode Island, 14 business days. So 14 days for your car to get repaired in the shop, that's, in my opinion, long term. That's 2 weeks.
Wow. Well, you heard it here first. If you're going to rent a car from Enterprise or anywhere, get the insurance. It's really worth it. So that kind of prepped you. You've already got insurance and accidents and claims and how dangerous people can drive and other people that crash into them. You already have that ruminating in your head. So then you go to Liberty. Did you just kind of slide into it? Did you have any hiccups, anything you had to learn that you weren't used to?
Well, and that's where most of my experience was on the car insurance side of things. I was dealing with cars. Cars were getting damaged. Cars were getting fixed. So moving into my role over at Liberty Mutual, I needed to learn about homeowners insurance and what happens with houses. And just as many things can go wrong with a house as with a car, and insurance needs to be there in order to protect that. And in order to really round it out, in order to make myself a full and complete agent, that required me learning about life insurance as well. And that's probably the most important product I talk about. But life insurance is important. Everybody should own it. If something happens to you, you need to protect your family.
Yeah, really. That's kind of like the base. Protecting that protects everything else. So,
Exactly.
like car insurance, you think, oh, you need car insurance because other people are on the road, even if you're safe. But you think a house, do you really need house insurance? Well, yeah, because there's weather. And when I bought my house years ago, I'm like, oh, storms, floods, hurricanes, shingles, all that stuff. Things happen. Bill Parmentier comes on. Chris is the man. Nice. Aaron Kloss. No one gets as excited about insurance like Chris does. What is it about insurance? You know what? I've seen you speak, and you're very fascinating. When you get up there and speak about insurance, I've been to many of your 10-minute presentations and even longer, and you're really, really creative. The insurance company needs people like you. Do you have to try hard to make it interesting, or do you really find it interesting, all these stories and facts?
I really find it interesting. Probably my favorite thing about insurance, and something a lot of people don't really think about, is insurance is really good-natured at heart. Yes, all the big insurance companies are looking to make a profit, but the base of why insurance exists, it's neighbor helping neighbor. It's you paying your premium now, not because you're going to be collecting something right at this moment, but because you know that your neighbor down the street is either going to get into a car accident, their house is going to burn down, something is going to happen that's going to inconvenience them significantly. And that's where insurance really comes in. And it's very exciting to be a part of that, because every time I'm able to save somebody money on their insurance, get them the policy that fits them appropriately, every single time I do that and I sign them up, we're setting them up to help somebody else who is right now, right this second, in need of paying out a claim and getting their lives fixed. So it really is a net good for everybody involved.
That's good stuff. Why talk to an agent when I can buy insurance online? Do you get that a lot?
I do, and that's probably my favorite question. Dave, have you seen the movie Along Came Polly?
No, I haven't. Just explain it.
That movie, and spoiler alert for those that haven't seen it, but that's the one with Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston. And Ben Stiller, the whole premise of the movie is he's trying to decide whether or not to put life insurance on this notoriously risky gentleman. He skydives, he scuba dives, he drives his sailboat into storms, and he's spending the entire movie trying to think like a person and not a computer. And at the end of the story, spoiler alert, the risky gentleman gets the life insurance policy. That's exactly why an insurance agent exists. Tailored policies need to be made for each individual. And if you go to a computer and you just type in things into a computer and hope something good spits out, you're not going to get as fulfilling of an experience. You're not going to get as complete of a policy as if you sit down and talk with somebody. Every family needs life insurance. Every family needs a homeowner's policy that's tailored to them and what they have in the house. Do they have jewelry? Do they have fine art? Do they have teenage drivers? You're not going to get tailored information specifically from a computer online. It's just not going to happen.
I completely agree. I think people like the convenience of it. Ooh, a new app. Go here to insurance.com app, whatever, and you go in there and you get it. But at the end of the day, you're like, you're going to have questions anyway. So why bother? Why bother? Just like any business, you really got to talk to someone. What does Aaron say? I just heard your homeowner's insurance can cover your cell phone for like $10 a year. Is that right?
It is. That's a great point, Aaron. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's way cheaper than Apple or AT&T.
100%. I can't tell you, when you go to like Verizon, what does it cost? $20-$30 a month in order to cover your cell phone? A renter's insurance policy, if you don't own your own house, is at max $10 a month in and of itself. And then add another $20 a year for this endorsement, and you're going to be able to protect your phone for less than what you're going to be paying over at Verizon. And same thing if you already have a homeowner's policy.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to get tacked on with your mortgage, and you can go ahead and file the claim for basically all the same things that the mobile device protection is going to cover. So if you drop your phone and it breaks, if you spill something on it, if you need to replace a screen, all of that, just throw it on your homeowner's policy.
Like if wine were to go, you seriously, I mean this with all sincerity, you blew my mind. I didn't know. I just assumed that you had to get insurance from the person you bought the phone from, like AT&T or the Apple store. It never occurred to me that it would be, you could get it on your homeowners. Is it a rider? You just like add it on and just...
That's exactly it. It's called an endorsement, and there are many endorsements out there. Everything from ID protection, that goes onto homeowners and renters policies, to scheduling larger items like fine art and jewelry. The worst thing that can ever happen to somebody, and I have had this happen to policyholders, where a gentleman is going to propose, he's got the ring, he's ready to go, he's nervous, he's shaking, he gets on his knee, and the ring goes into the water.
Yeah.
Homeowners insurance can cover that, but you need to call your agent. You need to have it listed.
Right. So people is now coming on here. Petra says, funny movie. She's talking about the Poly. Now I got to see that. Also, renter's insurance seems like a waste, but I knew it's good to get.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption that a lot of people have, but there's a couple of things I'll hit on with that.
Yeah.
With renter's insurance, A lot of people just assume that either A, they don't have things that are worth anything. But I want you to think, if you were to take everything you would put into an apartment and get rid of it tomorrow and have to go to the store and write a check to pay for it, most people don't have the funds available to do that right away. Some people do, and in that case, maybe renter's insurance isn't for you, but most people don't. And in a circumstance like that, that happens all the time. A pipe bursts, you lose all your clothes. A fire happens in the apartment building, you lose everything that you have inside of there, and your landlord is not responsible for your stuff.
That's
The
true.
only thing responsible for your stuff is you, and renter's insurance is the only way to cover that.
You know what? That's so true, and I found out about that too late. I didn't even know there was a thing called renter's insurance. We had just gotten married. It was 98, 99, 2000, and we were in an apartment, rented, and someone broke in the window and stole my wife's jewelry, all of her jewelry. Now, this is like really good custom jewelry that she got from thrift stores in New York City. She lived in Manhattan. She got really good stuff, and she had a lot of it kind of willed to her from her grandmother. We didn't have renter's insurance. Then the cop said, "Oh, do you have renter's insurance?" We're like, "No, I didn't know there was that." So it's so important that young married couples know that that's out there. I assume, like, obviously we've heard of it, but the older you get, you hear of everything, right? But when you're a young married couple, you may not even know about that. Renter's insurance, fairly inexpensive, right?
It very much so is, and especially when you bundle that with your car insurance, a lot of times your insurance agent, especially if they're worth their salt, are going to find discounts on your car insurance that are going to more than pay for the renter's insurance policy. As I said, they're dirt cheap. If you're spending more than $10, $12 a month on a renter's insurance policy, you're probably paying too much.
Wow.
And in a circumstance like that, $10, $12 a month, in my personal opinion, if you don't need it, it's still money well spent, because if you did need it, it's going to pay for itself 100 times over.
Oh, yeah. She lost a lot of money, my wife, on that. Another question from Diane. A lot of people coming on here, Chris. During this pandemic, are there benefits we have within our insurance policies? Of course, that is general question. Oh, I just lost it again. Of course, this is a general question we might not be aware of. In other words, during the pandemic, are there benefits we have within our policy? So because of the pandemic, is anything covered?
In terms of the pandemic itself, in terms of most of your personal property, most of your coverage, there's not much claims related for it. However, I can tell you that pretty much all insurance companies are in agreement that we're working with people. So, for example, at Liberty Mutual, we understand in two fashions that people are hurting in terms of their personal finances right now, and they're wondering how to afford their bills. We've done two things for that. First thing we've done is we implemented a customer relief fund. We preemptively refunded 15% of 2 months of insurance premium to our car insurance customers. The reasons we've done that is because, let's face it, we're all driving significantly less right now. As a factor of that, our claims volume is significantly lower. So rather than just take that as a win and put it in our profit margins, we took that entire chunk and we've already refunded it back to our customers. We paid it out in a lump sum check back to our customers that's straight back in their pocket. The other thing that we've done is we're flexible in terms of the payments. So if people are having trouble paying their bills right now, in the past, insurance is very straightforward. You pay or you don't have insurance. It has to be that way. We have reserves that we have to keep up so we can pay out claims. But right now, we're being flexible with people. We're working on payment plans. We're making sure that your coverage is still in place, especially if you're affected by this and your job is not secure at the moment.
That's cool. If you want to contact Chris, 401-824-1114. It's in white text. I should always tell my my guests, don't wear a white shirt because all of your stuff down there just disappears. But you got some black, so move your shirt around so we can see. Yeah, there we go. You can now read it. What else? We have another one. Steve Mason. Actually, many places won't rent without renter's insurance. Yeah, is that true? They're getting hip to it?
Actually, that's one of the advice whenever I help somebody with, it's called a landlord policy. when they own a property where they rent out an apartment, whether they live in the property or not, the first thing I tell all of them is to make sure in their lease agreement that they ask their renters to purchase renter's insurance and do that as part of the lease. A lot of the big complexes, the bigger apartment complexes, do that already. And the reason they do that is purely liability. If you cause a fire, specifically because, let's say, I don't know, you're negligent, you put something on the stove, you walked away, you came back, and all of a sudden your kitchen's on fire, you're not the only one getting affected in that. Your neighbors are getting affected as well. And as a landlord, you want to limit your liability. If there's no renter's insurance, it's hard to take blood from the stone. Once again, most people don't have a lot of cash just readily available to pay out in a claim situation.
Sure.
Renter's insurance puts a piggy bank there. You're going to have liability at least usually of $100,000. Some places require more. Average is $300,000. So now there's a piggy bank there for those sort of situations that's going to go ahead and make everything right.
Can a landlord reject bringing in a new person by saying, look, they don't want to pay it?
They put it as part of their lease, and they just say, hey, as your agreement to rent from me, one of my requirements is that you have renter's insurance.
Okay, they can reject that then. If they don't want to do it, they can reject that. That's good.
Exactly.
Petra says she says true. Well, a lot of questions coming in now. Check it out. My apartment burned down my first year out of college. I lost everything. Yeah, man, that's like, you must hear stories like that.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Petra says, thanks. Another one, Aaron is saying, I'm predicting there will be a pandemic insurance coming out in the near future. Are you hearing that?
There is already something called pandemic insurance. It's a
Really?
specialty out there.
PI.
Yep, it's not available at the personal level, though that may change because whenever there's a market, there's something for it. But larger scale businesses, for example, Disney is somebody that buys pandemic insurance specifically for things like this. If something happens where they're shut down, they need to be able to pay their payroll or figure out what's going on, get some revenue in. It's not going to be the same as if the business were open all the time, but there is pandemic insurance out there to help them.
Yeah, because since this hit, none of us expected that. You know, I mean, the news came in January, and then all of a sudden by mid-March, we're like shutting things down, and we have never been in this situation. Never would I have imagined. You know, when I was a kid, Chris, you know, I used to watch a cartoon called The Jetsons. George Jetson and Jane and his boy Elroy, and, you know, and they're flying around in cars. I remember thinking in the 70s and 80s, wow, what's it going to be like in 2020? You know, everyone's got, they don't have a car. They've got like this little rocket ship in their driveway. They just go, brrr, they fly into space. How are they, I remember thinking, how are they going to divide the lines in space to fly? Because accidents could happen everywhere. Insurance is going to go through the roof. I wasn't thinking that back in the day. But I remember thinking, what's 2020 going to be like? Never in my wildest imagination did I think 2020 would be the year that we're dealing with a pandemic. I'm like, what? Never thought that.
Crazy.
It is. Petra Wildenhain from Connecticut. Liberty, liberty, liberty. That's cool. And she also says, my son had a horrible thing happen with his car. He accidentally pumped diesel into his car, and it was never the same. Oh, that's a bad accident. Do you cover that? He pumped. Actually, she says more. He pumped the regular gas pump, but diesel came out.
Oh.
So he pumped the right pump, but diesel came out. Good question, Petra.
In a situation like that, that one specifically, we would be going after the gas station. If he pumped 87 and diesel came out, that's sounds like negligence on the part of the gas station, if you ask me. That would be a involved claim. I'll tell you under normal circumstances, and this actually brings up a great point. So there are things insurance does do, and there's things insurance doesn't do. And there's usually a lot of gray area with that, and that's where a lot of confusion can happen with a lot of people. One thing that insurance doesn't do, it's not a warranty, and something along those lines where it's mechanical like that, where you accidentally pumped in the wrong fuel and that affected the engine, that's actually considered a mechanical issue. And so that's not something that would be covered under normal insurance. The reason for that is because insurance is there not so much to protect against the mechanical things. It's very specific in the way it's set up. It's set up to protect against sudden occurrences. For example,
It's an occurrence, that happens to something.
yeah, for an example, I had one policyholder once along the gas station line. They went ahead and accidentally put gas in a gas can in the back seat of the car, spilt the gas can. The gas can totaled the car, believe it or not. And the reason it totaled the car is the cost to redo the interior of this car was more than the value of it. That claim was paid. But something along the lines of pumping the wrong fuel into the vehicle, just by definition, unfortunately, that would end up on insurance-wise being determined as something mechanical and most likely would not be covered.
Wow. Let me ask another question. Feeling like people who feel like their insurance rates kind of creep up every year, why is this?
So that kind of goes back to something I talked about before, where insurance is helping your neighbor and your neighbor helping you. And it's something a lot of people sometimes have trouble wrapping their heads around. But essentially what is going on there is the way insurance companies make money is not directly off of your premium. When your premium comes in, your premium is used to back up what's called our reserves. By law, we have to keep a certain amount of cash on hand in order to pay out our claims. And then the rest of that, we go ahead and invest, and that's where we make most of our profits.
Oh, okay. So
Now,
you're making
let
me cut you off there. So Liberty and other insurance companies make their money off reinvesting the money, not so much in bringing on new clients.
And they can't invest all of it. They can only invest some of it.
Oh.
So most of the money actually goes into an account, and it has to be liquid. So that way there, when we have a claim, we have the cash on hand in order to pay it out.
That makes sense.
We have a requirement for our reserves. But because it's all about us helping all of our neighbors, that's why it's location dependent, and that's why how other people and the frequency and the severity of other people's claims affects your prices. And the reason being is, I'll give you a perfect example. 20 years ago, what did it cost to buy a car? 20 years ago, what did it cost to buy a house?
Yeah, really.
I can tell you, for example, my father's first house was $25,000. Most houses now are what, $200,000 to $300,000 for an average size home?
Yeah, the house I'm living in now is $32,000 in '78.
So it's crazy. The price of things is going up. So when claims happen, the price of those claims is going up as well, and it has consistently been trending upward, especially on the automobile side of things. The cost of cars 10 years ago, when I started with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, a bumper would be like $1,000 if you had to replace one. But now that same bumper could be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 with all the sensors and the metal brackets.
Oh, right.
So something as simple as a bumper can cause the claims to go way, way up nowadays. So because of that, costs of insurance has been trending upwards.
Wow. Weirdest claim that you've ever experienced? This is story time with Chris Chappell. Tell me some stories. Weirdest claim.
Yep, I'll tell you, and it's funny, that reminded me, and we talked about it a little bit before, so I'll tell you two stories real quick. First one is, believe it or not, I found this one out just the other day. Did you know there's something called multiple birth insurance?
You mean you're expecting one birth and then another one comes, you didn't expect it?
Exactly. That exists. From Lloyd's of London, you can actually buy a policy on your pregnancy early on when you don't know what's coming. And if you get twins unexpectedly, it'll reimburse you for the cost of the extra baby. I just thought that was weird.
For the life of the baby?
No, just for the initial expenses, but still, that's double.
That's what I'd be asking my agent. Can you put him through college? Because certainly I did not expect that one.
But no, the weirdest claim I've ever experienced, I had a policyholder call me once, and he goes, Chris, I've had a break-in. It's been horrible. I was like, oh, my God, what happened? He goes, this thief, he broke into my house. He went through all my stuff. Things were everywhere. I'm filing a police report. Wait, are you there with the burglar right now? Yes, he's still in my house. freaking out. I'm like, why are you calling me? Call the police. Get this guy out of your house. He goes, but the burglar, he goes, I just can't stand it. I'm yelling at him right now. My policyholder actually FaceTimed me after all this. His burglar was a raccoon, and the raccoon was going around tearing up his house.
Oh. So what you must have lost it. You peed your pants at that point.
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I was like, of course it's a raccoon. He's got the burglar mask.
He's got the burglar mask. Yeah, that threw you. That threw her.
Yep.
Did you ever feel? And I'm sure you've shared some things with me. Some pretty sad stories. Things we just really felt like, oh man, I warned you. I kind of told you, and then this happened. Or even just life insurance policy, and a good client just passes away. You're a guy that's full of a lot of heart, so I'm sure you feel a lot of things.
Life insurance, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, life insurance is the most important product that I sell. And that's one of the products that's probably the most neglected. Most people need life insurance, and believe it or not, most people don't have it. That one, I'll tell you a personal story on it. Believe it or not, my mother has life insurance. Doesn't have life insurance, excuse me. The reason she doesn't have life insurance is actually because she's uninsurable. She's been battling for well over 10 years now, stage 4 melanoma cancer. I'm going to knock on wood. She's doing good. She's fighting the good fight. She's been consistent the whole way through. But because of that, she is not able to purchase life insurance. She's what's called uninsurable.
Mm-hmm.
So in a situation like that for her, she had been asked if she wanted life insurance beforehand. She always said, no, what I have at work will protect me. And then as soon as this happened, it's like the light switched, and she's like, no, I need something. The problem with life insurance is it's probably the most fickle thing out there, and you can become uninsurable like that. And it's easier to get something set up and have things change and still be protected than to do nothing right now, need it, and you're not going to be able to. So those things happen quite frequently. And unfortunately, that's a conversation, especially during COVID time, that I'm having more and more often. But the more you have that conversation, a good insurance agent is going to ask you about it when you ask about your car insurance, when you ask about your home, and have the conversation, make a decision, hopefully set something up, because it's going to mean a world of difference for your family.
Now, you were telling me something about during these times, the insurance companies are being a little lenient on things, like you don't have to get a blood test or something. Can you elaborate on that?
So in terms of life insurance, and it's different company to company, something my company has done for a very long time is something called a simplified issue life insurance product. And that's something that's very valuable. Up to a certain death benefit, you're allowed to purchase life insurance with no medical exam. That means no blood test, no urinalysis. All you do is basically a 15-minute conversation with your agent. And at the end of that conversation, you get basically an automatic decision. So you either get an approval or a rejection. And it's nice because it's quick, it's easy, and you move on.
Right. All right, I got a couple questions here. One is from Deb Burton. Talk about beneficiary designations, please. Yeah, so someone's about to pass away. You have insurance for them. Just, you got the floor.
So beneficiary designations, in terms of that question, maybe if I could ask a clarifying one, what specifically is it that you're looking to know? Because that can lead down a couple different rabbit holes.
So I know Deb works with a lot of elderly. A lot of her clients are children of elderly, professionals who work with elderly, or the elderly themselves. So she'll probably type that in right now. Why don't you do that, Deb? Put that in. And Petra put in, how far in advance do you have to buy flood insurance before it's effective? Now, I am like the flood insurance maven. I know what a flood can do to a home. So how far do you have to get that before a flood happens if you buy the water?
So flood insurance will always have a waiting period unless you're buying a house. If you're buying a house, that waiting period will be waived and it will be your closing date. But flood insurance, the way I tell people about it, because flood insurance is underwritten by the federal government, it doesn't matter which company you go with. the federal government is 9 times out of 10 going to be the one that pays that claim.
FEMA.
And so you're going to have a requirement to have it beforehand. There
Right.
are optional flood insurance policies you can purchase that are not underwritten by the government. Those are 2-week waiting periods.
Okay, so I'm wondering if Petra meant that, Petra. If you're hearing that there's a big storm coming and it's like, whoa, it's gonna be the big one, and it's a month away or 3 weeks away, could she get it now? And like 3 weeks from now, the big flood happens? No.
Nope. No reason. But of indemnity and insurance. A lot of times what ends up happening is in situations like that, insurance companies know it's coming just as much as you are, and they issue what's called a moratorium. And they say, hey, listen, we're going to stop issuing these till after the event passes. And then after the event passes, we'll start issuing them again.
Oh,
the purpose
wow.
of insurance is to have it in place beforehand.
Yeah.
If you need it and you see something coming, it's really too late. If you think you might need it, you want to add it ahead of time.
So just get it, and just pay
More
it.
important,
Forget.
have a conversation with your agent, because your agent will tell you if it's necessary or not for you.
Yep. We got it. We had it where we were. We were right by the Patuxent River, the big flood of March 30th of 2010.
Yeah.
And 10 and a half feet of water. We were homeless for 6 months. $130,000 claim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and paid it right. And we built the house from the studs in. Beautiful. We built the whole house over, completely all over again. It's well worth it. It cost us like, I don't know, at the time $400 a year, and we paid it for 4 years, and we got $130,000 out of it. Well worth it. All right, so back to Deb. Deb said about beneficiary designation. She's also saying that it's not related to a will or a power of attorney.
Correct. Yep. So with beneficiaries, and I think I know where you're going with this, Deb, and correct me if I'm wrong.
And actually, hold that thought, Chris, because she just said something else. Beneficiary designations pass outside of estate probate.
Correct. So in terms of life insurance is done tax-free. There's no taxes associated with life insurance. The way that the laws are written right now, if you have a life insurance policy and you designate a beneficiary, that life insurance policy is going to be provided to that person as long as they're above the age of 18 without any probate. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, anytime you write a life insurance policy, you still should have a conversation with an estate planning attorney, because they're going to go through the ups and downs of the probate process with you in order to make sure that that's written appropriately. But life insurance provides the piggy bank behind that. And all life insurance is tax-free, the death benefit.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Chris, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's do a
really
virtual clink. So I didn't tell you this beforehand, but and you've seen the show. I have what's called a virtual clink, where you, the guest, hold your glass in your left hand, right lined up with your left shoulder, and slide it over to your right shoulder. Too far. Actually, pull it closer to your shoulder. There you go. And then move it like that. And then I'm going to do the same, but on the right hand. So we're going to do a virtual clink. Ready? Oh, here we go. And 1, 2, 3.
Clink.
Clink. We kind of did it. Eventually, we'll be able to do a real clink, Chris. And you know what?
Wait.
If the glass breaks, if you're visiting me at my house, and we do a clink, and we're like, hey, let's just celebrate being together again, and crash, the glass cuts you, who's insured?
I'll tell you what, I got a guy.
You got a guy. But you get hurt, but you're in my house. Is it my claim or your claim?
Oh, that'd be your claim, my friend.
It wouldn't be you? Yeah.
Wouldn't be me.
Wouldn't be me, because it all happened in my home. That's cool.
Your home.
Nice. All right. Petra says, I remember that flood. Yeah, I posted that all over the place. I know. You remember that. Good night. Thanks, Dave and Chris. And Sal says, great information, Chris. Aaron says, great job, Chris. Very knowledgeable. He is. You know, I'm telling you, Chris, you bring fun to it, but you also are very, very, very knowledgeable. And guys, if you're out there, Chris is still on this interview right now. Right below him, if he moves around in his black and white shirt, you'll see, yeah, there we go, 824-1114. He's the number one man, 1114, 824-1114. Give him a call. He'll answer questions. You know, he's not a hard salesy guy. He's not like, oh, let me get your email and, blah, blah, blah. He's not like that. If you want to hire him, hire him. But he's the nicest guy. He's an Eagle Scout, for crying out loud. He's an Eagle Scout. He's going to be honorable, respectful. He's going to do his duty and guard his country. I know. Yeah, you were blown away that I knew that. I was never an Eagle Scout. I was. I almost became a Star Scout, and then I quit. You know why I quit?
Why?
Started smoking pot. We'll talk about that later. I have a checkered past. What am I going to say? Chris, thanks for coming on. Deb Burton says duct tape would fix it. Chris, great job. Chris, very knowledgeable. People love you, man. Yeah, call Chris. Take a snapshot of this. If you're watching, pull out your phone right now. Take a snapshot. Grab his phone number. Give him a call. He's a great guy. Last question, though, and I know it's 9:56. I went long because I'm really fascinated by you. Can you sell insurance in every state?
As a matter of fact, I cannot. I can sell insurance in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts.
RI and Mass. Okay, cool. Awesome.
We're nationwide.
Oh, and Deb Burton saying broken glass. The duct tape can fix the broken glass. I get it. But can't fix Chris's broken hand. Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, that was awesome. Good guy. What a good guy. Well, I got 4 minutes to play with apps. I guess I can play with apps. Do you want me to play with apps? And then I've got a closing joke, and it's an insurance joke. I like that thing. All right, let's see. Pixaloop. No, not Pixaloop. I'm going to deal with Video Leap. You guys have seen me play with Video Leap. And what I want to do is I want to grab something that was, how about this? My guest last night was Konstantinos from Thessalonica, Greece. It was amazing. It was cool. Can you see that? So it was great. Heavy metal, bass player. I'm not like the biggest metal fan, but if it's got energy and attitude, I listen to it, If it doesn't, But that's not totally true because James Taylor is like the opposite of heavy metal, but I love James Taylor. And John Denver is a guilty pleasure. But I don't know why I tick the way I tick, but I just like people who are they believe in what they do as far as musicians, So if you're James Taylor, if you're John Denver, or if you're Anthrax, it doesn't matter if you're believing what you do. That's good. So anyway, why did I go there? I don't know. Anyway, I had them on last night. Watch last night's episode. It did really well, actually. It did really, really well. So here it is, okay? So if you can see this was just a photo I took after of the devil horns, but it's not the devil horns. It's the Swedish horns. And did you know what it spells? W. I wonder what W stands for. I'll let you figure that out while I have a glass of wine. All right, so anyway, back to this. Video Leap is crazy. There it is. Let me blow it up because I want to show you the full thing, right? I don't know if you can see it. If I play it, you could add text. You can do whatever you want. But what I want to show you is something that's very unique. If you click on, can you see this? No, you can't see this. See right down here where it says stickers? This is really cool. If you're slightly creative and you think you just want to do things with photos and videos and stuff, get Video Leap. It will open your mind. Don't worry, you won't crash your computer. You won't need app insurance from Chris. You won't need app insurance. I wonder if there's app insurance. I crashed my computer. That's a rider. Anyway, click on stickers. Okay, click on stickers. Look at all this stuff. It's hours and hours of fun, little kiddos. So I'm just going to type in, I could type in heavy metal. I just want to add some, it's an animated GIF. I could type in heavy metal. I'm just going to do, I don't know, the word mean. I don't know, for whatever reason. All right? Look at, you know, these people doing mean. Please be kind. All right, let me see that one in the middle. Click it. Boom, it taps it. It goes there. There it is. Okay. And now let me do this so you can see it larger. Right there. Ready? All right, please be kind. Actually, let me resize it. And I can twist it. That's cool, huh? All right. Here we go. Ready? This is how easy it is. Please be kind. Little rainbow. Cool, huh? Now, it runs longer than the picture, so I click on the picture and I drag it all the way to, actually I'm going to go to like 8 or 9. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to drag that out. There we go. All right, now I do it. Ready? Boom. Please be kind. Little rainbow. This, you know, it's so easy to use. If you're doing posts on Facebook, Instagram, the goal of this is to create quick, creative videos to put out there. I guarantee you, I'm in this field. I manage people's social media accounts. I know what I'm talking about. Use Video Leap and it will get more engagement. And more engagement means your post stays on Facebook longer. That's the point. If you're in business, you want your post to stay out longer so more people click on it and see it and they get to know your business. That's why I'm doing this Dave Plays with Apps thing. What do you think? I was just doing this for fun? I can't stand doing this stuff. No, I'm kidding. I love doing this stuff. But anyway, that's just that little thing, right? I could put it anywhere. You can twist it. You could blow it up. Look at that. Please be kind. That doesn't make any sense, having a heavy metal pose and then a little rainbow. Just doesn't make sense. But anyway, hey, it's 10:02. It's late. It's Thursday. Thursday night's my favorite night of the week. I'm going to fill you in because it means Friday is the last day of the week. Get to have the weekend off, take a break. Today, I wasn't going to mention this, but some things bothered me today. And I wasn't going to say it. And I talked to my friend Chris tonight. But I feel like there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of injustice. There's a lot of people, like black people, being killed for no reason. For no reason. Like blatant murder, 9-minute torture. And it bothers me so much. It really bothers me to see that video. I did not want to see the video. And I've been avoiding the news for a few days. And I saw that, and I saw George Floyd. I'm like, who is that? I found out, Minnesota Vikings. And I said, okay, let me look at this. And it was way worse than I thought. And let me just close this scene out. It was way worse than I thought. And I didn't want to talk about it tonight, but I'm telling you, it's just really bad, man. It's really, really bad what's going on in the world. I can't believe that this is happening. And I'm sorry, I didn't expect to talk about this. But I might have a guest on to talk about racism. And I kind of thought, I don't want to have a person. It can't be a white person. It's got to be a person of color. And I thought, okay, the ad that I put out is going to say, racism is having wine with Dave. Just racism is having wine with Dave. And I'll bring on a lot of my friends, our African Americans and just talking. And there's no Dave plays with apps, none of that crap. None of the did you know, it's all fun games, but none of that. Devote an hour to just talking about this. And not to be sensationalistic, but just to talk about it because, A, we got to educate ourselves. I don't know if you guys know any black people, any African Americans. I hope you do. I really hope you do. If you're white, you have no freaking idea what they have to wake up to every day. And I have a glimpse, but it's hard as a parent to tuck your boy and your daughter in bed every night and just say, you know, good night. It's going to be a good night. You're going to have a great day tomorrow, when you know as a parent you're a black family and maybe it's not going to be all right tomorrow. So I might do that. I might have a guest on, and the guest might be racism. Not racism itself, but some friends of mine that might talk about what it's like growing up being black. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional. I just, it's hard. It's really hard to see this stuff. It's got to stop. And I'm sorry for keeping you kids up late, because that's, I try to get you in bed. I took my glasses off so I can't even see the time. It's 10:06. This is the latest I've ever gone. But, you know, share a comment. Tell me if you think I should do it, or if it's too much for you. Let me know. I mean, if it's too much for you, that's fine. I've already talked to one person. They said, I just don't want to talk about another black man or black woman being thrown on a pile of other black men and black women bodies in the news. And I respected her, and so she's not going to be on the show. But let me know. Let me know if you think you'd like to participate in that. It's not a show. This is not a show. All right? This is not a show. It's a real talk. It would be kind of like a different kind of a wine with Dave, okay? So I just want to let you know it'd be a very different kind of thing. So let me know. Just put it in there. I want to please you guys, give you some fun stuff. Wine with Dave was to escape from the reality of being in COVID-19, but man, we just keep getting slapped across the face with racism every single 3 months, it seems like, you know? What the heck? I had a closing joke, and I don't feel good about being funny. So just leave a comment, all right? I'll see you tomorrow night.